poet, writer, lyricist, daughter, sister, friend, wife, ride or die. All of these things have been used to define me. Well, parts of me. But no one knows who I really am. So, in an attempt to come out of my shell, allow me to introduce you to the real me. Hi, my name is Mary. I enjoy food, reading, and laughing for absolutely no reason at all. But I don't allow myself to cry as often as I need to. I have this odd fascination with things like season changes and seasonal people, and I assume it's because I often find myself dedicating time to things that I know will only last for a few months. I guess that's why I fall in love with men that never love me for long. I know. It sounds crazy, but it's actually better this way. Because if I'm being honest, I'm afraid. I'm afraid if I let you see the real me, all of my scars, my insecurities, my vulnerabilities, my past hurts and pains, my fears and my failures, you would treat me like the victim I once was and not like the victor I've become. I'm afraid. I'm afraid if I let you see the scars that decorate my body, you would look at me and judge my scars rather than praise my story. I'm afraid. I'm afraid if I open the vacancies in my heart to you, the signs that would change from under construction to close until further notice, and I'm afraid. I'm afraid if I open up to you and you see my flaws, you would grind my bones into powder and get high off of my fault lines high. My name is Mary. I enjoy food, reading, and laughing for absolutely no reason at all. But I don't allow myself to cry as often as I need to. I have solar-powered confidence and a battery-operated smile. My hobbies include editing my life story, hiding behind metaphors, and trying to convince my shadow that I'm someone worth following. I don't know much, but I do know this. I know that God has given me this assignment, although I stumble along the way. It reminds Him and me that I still have a lot of work to do. Now, would you believe me if I told you I knew exactly where I was at 4 p.m. on June 23rd, 2004? Well, believe it, because it's true. I can recall that day with nearly perfect clarity as if it had just happened to me yesterday. And that's because that's the day my life changed forever. That's the day I went from being a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed little girl to being the mother of 5 children. Yes, I was only 9 years old. But in almost an instant, I went from enjoying my childhood to now raising 5 kids, and here's that story. I was coming home from school, and actually my last day of 4th grade, and that's why I remember it so well, because I had just solidified my career path. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I was always a dreamer. But as I got off the bus and walked into my house, I saw my mother standing there with tears in her eyes and telling me and my siblings that we had to go away for a little bit. That something had happened and we couldn't stay with her anymore. At that point, I had to hold myself together because I had to take care of my siblings. In fact, that was the one thing she told me I had to do. No matter what happened, I had to take care of my brothers and sisters. And not fully understanding where we were going and why we were leaving, I promised my mother I would. So off we went in a red Kia Jeep. And the woman that was driving is responsible for the person I am now. All 7 of us packed up into this little red old Jeep and drive, which probably was maybe about 30 minutes, but back then it seemed like forever, to the house that I now call home. It's crazy. As we walk into her house, she asks us to leave the memories that we had of my mother behind, meaning our clothes, my journal, everything that we had, because it was infested. And it was. That was the first longest night of my life. My younger brothers and sisters refused to go to sleep because they were scared and they didn't know where their mother was or their father. All they knew is that I was there. So I took off the hat of my childhood and put on the hat of mother, and I've been wearing it ever since. And I don't regret a thing. But that night, I watched as my siblings cried themselves to sleep and have nightmares for 8 hours straight because they did not know what was going to happen to them tomorrow. But I knew. I knew that that promise that I made to my mother was what's going to keep this family together. Take care of them. And that's all I wanted to do. That's what I was responsible for. And that's what I was going to accomplish. My first big accomplishment, raising a family. It was only supposed to be for one summer, but it turned out to be the rest of my life. The summer of 2004 quickly turned into the school year of 2004, which turned into the school year of 2009. And before I knew it, these people who had saved me from something that could have been detrimental to my health and practically my life was offering to adopt me. And it's crazy. Looking back now, almost 14, 15 years, I knew it could not have been easy for them to take in 7 children who they knew, but then they didn't know. We went to the same church together. I mean, they were my pastor and first lady. Of course they knew me. Of course they loved me. But there's something that's always in the back of your mind, and something that I still battle with today is, why was I not enough for my mom? And while I know that's not true and I love my mom to death, she is one of my best friends, I can't help but think that. That's just how it goes. It's the circle of foster care. Years went by, and as everything became more clear that we were never going to go back to her, I had to let go of what I wanted to happen and embrace what was and what is. I had to embrace the calling that God had on my life, because there is no doubt in my mind that had I not been placed in that situation, I definitely would not be here today. November 2009. We get note that both my great-grandmother and my grandmother has passed within months of each other. probably the worst thing that could ever happen to me was followed by the best thing that's ever happened to me. They wanted to adopt me. They wanted to make me a part of their family. And just like they promised me, they kept us all together. And I could not believe that this was going to be my life. So I said yes. The second big accomplishment of my life. Saying yes to being happy for the first time. We go through the process, and I was officially Mary Magdalene Mobley Hale. It was the best day of my life. I went throughout high school and did everything I could to make sure I lived up to that name. I did not want to have them regret adopting me. But things happen. I wasn't the perfect child or the perfect mother. After seeing my siblings grow up and go on to their own lives, I felt this sense of pride and joy, because now I know what it feels like to see somebody that you love so much succeed in life. It was then and only then that I decided to get a life of my own. I had missed out on so many things because of who I was and the situation I was put in, that when I was finally able to make decisions for myself and have a life, I went crazy. I did everything I could think of, and I don't regret it. I joined the military. I embraced who God was and who He is in my life, and because of that, I am still sitting here today. I got married, started several businesses, and I would be lying if I told you that it was the easiest road, because it wasn't. But it was the road that I will take again and again and again, because that's the road that gave me my life. So when people ask me what is the best thing that ever happened to me, I normally answer them with the same answer that I would give them if they asked what was the worst thing that ever happened, or the best thing that never happened to you. Because the best thing that ever happened to me is also the best thing that never happened. And what I mean by that is everything that I have in my life right now, my businesses, my family, my husband, my church, my ministry, everything I have is because of that day. June 24th, 2004 was the day I decided that I was not going to be a victim of my circumstances. I couldn't afford it, nor did I want to. I didn't want to have that stigma of being a foster child over my head. I fought as long and as hard as I could, and I'm still fighting now to make sure that people know that just because you are in foster care does not mean you cannot have success. Being in foster care is probably the best thing that happened to me, because it gave me everything. And when I was looking up the word foster means to encourage or to promote the development of. And when I saw that definition, I found myself saying, they have to know. So I have a lot of friends that were in foster care. I have a lot of friends who still are in foster care. And my mission in life is to show them and to tell them and to encourage them that it's not the end of their story. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to be a statistic. Because according to statistics, I'm supposed to be dead, in prison, unmarried with multiple children, and or have my children taken away from me. And I am happy to say that I beat all of those statistics. So my business is to promote and to encourage the business of others, especially those who know what it feels like to not have the family that they were born into. And I love the family that I was born into with all of my heart. But the family that God gave me, and the family that I was raised with, and the family that I will ultimately make one day, will know what legacy is. Because my legacy is to promote life and health and wellness and spirituality, because they are all one and the same. So my business, Foster Legacy, is my company. It's my brand, and it's my testimony. And in that, we show men, women, and children how to foster their own success. There's so many ways to become successful, and being successful doesn't always mean that there's money involved. You can be a successful parent, you can be a successful wife, a successful husband or wife, boyfriend or girlfriend. Success comes in all success comes in all different venues and avenues. Success does not always mean money. It's great if it does, but it doesn't always mean that. And Foster Legacy is something that is close to my heart because it is my story, and it's something that people need to know. The foster system, while it's not perfect, it's not broken. I am where I am, and I am who I am because of my amazing foster parents. So that was a little bit about me, you guys. I'm sorry I got a little emotional at the end there. I just wanted to give you guys a glimpse into who I am and into the business that I am going into. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's had a hand in my success. My father, Bishop Harrison Hale, I would not be here without him. None of this would be possible without him. Mother Hale, I love her so much. My brothers, my sisters, my church family, my amazing mother, my husband, who has been my support system for like the last 5 years. You have really made a difference in my life, and I just want to say thank you. And I just want you guys to know that this success is not just mine alone. This is a shared success. It is a shared legacy, and it is something that I know will go on forever. I'll see you guys soon.